Hello. So the question about do humans have free will or is causality universal? So our actions are determined. This discussion this week was really interesting to me. It actually reminded me a little bit about the CBT model that we learn about in psychology, where our thoughts precede our actions. Lily made a good point in her discussion post about ice cream. I thought it was a really good parallel to what we were talking about. And so, um, whether or not she was predetermined to like ice cream or she learned it through learning up growing behavior, and that's something that was kind of talked about in our textbook, how we learn things kind of determines our free will. It's like I feel like the textbook was talking a lot about leading up to free will. What determines how we act or how we use our free will? Um, it, the term epistemology, I think that's how you say it. I'm not quite sure, but I really liked learning about these different ways that we utilize and gain our knowledge, which kind of determines how we utilize our free will. So I feel like in the discussion, especially, some people were mentioning circumstances or situations as free will. So it made me think about um, some people might think of free will as being a circumstance, but I feel like the free will is actually our thoughts, because circumstances we can't change. It just kind of is what it is, right? But our free will is our thoughts about that circumstance. So how, and then that then determines what we choose to do with that thought. So then that leads to the causality or the action, if you will. So it's not a black and white matter. It's definitely, there's definitely a lot of gray area in there when talking about free will versus causality. Um, but I do, my thought did keep turning to the legal system and how all that works. But again, I kept also thinking about that CBT model. I feel like everything kind of comes full circle. Like with there's a circumstance, and then how we learned and think about that circumstance then determines our action and the cause of things, and it just kind of goes full circle that way. So that's my thoughts this week. I'll talk to you guys later.